had this vision, and there were 4 beautiful dancers there. They were 2 spirited dancers. In the vision, I felt like I was the spirit visiting there, and it really did feel like it was like 1,000 years ago. You know, they were dancing so completely and utterly content with their role in life. Just the feeling was so beautiful and so warm and accepting. What I got out of that was their sense of purpose for being there. There was just no question of why they were born two-spirited and what their role was. In reality, it seemed to have only lasted maybe a minute, but I came out of that feeling like I'd been there for a long, long time. I am two-spirited. Of course, we're not all this pretty in the morning. You have to work at it a little. My name is Mainkan Nipoe Benese, and I'm Ojibwe. I knew from early childhood that things were different for me, but you learn to hate who you are because of the feedback you get from other adults around you. There's a much deeper truth about who we are that's been hidden from us. But today it's changing. The contemporary words like gay, queer, homosexual, they were all created by others who knew nothing about us as human beings. But when I heard two-spirited, it really resonated with me because we remind ourselves that we're spiritual beings, that has nothing to do with the sex at all. Sexual orientation is only a small part of us. The vision revealed to me a deep truth that I felt compelled to share with the world.
So it's like a nice variety here.
Where do you begin with something like that?
Nice stuff on the side there.
Well, you go shopping. Preferably with an artist like Billy Martin.
Color too.
My good friend works in the costume department of films, and he does interior design, so I knew that he'd be really good help.
I don't remember seeing beads, but I remember seeing there's...
He can create reality just from sketches alone.
And I just remember the light coming through.
And you need a tailor like Jeff Chief, who creates amazing wardrobes for theater and film. He came down from Saskatoon to help. And you need lots of help from your friends.
I'm too old to get up.
14 and a half, 15, 40, 41, 14 and 13. Sorry, 15 and 3/4, 12 and 3/4.
There's like a bunch of crystal stones stuck together.
So the idea here was to recreate these beautiful two-spirit outfits and honor them here in our reality.
It's exciting. It's a nice start.
Yeah, it's a nice start. It's funny.
Good. It's coming together.
The vision was the first thing that happened, but shortly after that, another very powerful experience came my way. The eagle has always been a very sacred being to many tribes. It's the only living thing that flies the highest in the sky and comes closest to our Creator in all of our relations in the spirit realm. So I shared this story with all of my helpers and how honored I was to have this eagle come my way and help me start my medicine bundle. Oftentimes I hear this little whisper in my mind telling me to go this way, go that way, do this, do that, and it's different from my intuition. But this little voice I hear once in a while wants to take me somewhere. But instead of being fearful of it, I just let it happen and went with it. So I'm driving down these old roads, these gravel roads, not really knowing where I'm going to end up, just listening. And I drove until there was no more road. So I ended up in the middle of nowhere, basically. Got out of the car, and there was this big, beautiful golden eagle that had passed away that was just on the ground before me. And my whole body started to vibrate. And I knew that I'd been specifically led there to this eagle. It was about maybe 300 yards away from a nest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was instructed by my medicine people that my bundle was to begin with parts of this beautiful eagle. And, I had no idea how to treat the eagle. And luckily, my friend Albert had the answers on how to take care of it.
Might have to weigh it down if the pieces start to float, so we might have to weigh it down so that it stays under the water.
How's this, Lorne? More sparkle?
Yeah, you can add another row, but I like the rhinestones just randomly in there, yeah.
Yeah, just this one row of alternating colors.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's how you're going to be dancing in. So practice all night.
We'll finish the dress and everything, and then once everything's done, you can start sewing your appliques and beads and stuff on here.
It's so strange to be just seeing it all like materialize in front of me. When it's something just in your head, and this vision is just, it's becoming like reality.
So like you said, they're going to be holding it like this, right? As opposed to this.
So they're going to be like this, and then going up.
And it's called the faux butterfly stick. Fabulous.
Basically, what I was hoping to do here was to recreate the environment that often just creates itself naturally when we gather once a year at the International Two-Spirit Gatherings that started 20 years ago. It's not structured at all most of the time. We do have workshops, and we always have a craft table or a craft section. And we'll sit around and everyone just beads bracelets and makes, all this kind of stuff. And oftentimes what happens there is that's where we start sharing all our stories.
We often share our stories of either ourselves or other friends being ostracized for who they are.
I did get teased a lot for who I am. I was already what they say flamboyant when I was younger. And in school, elementary, all the way from high school, I pretty much had a hard time.
I knew that I was different and I had attractions to girls, but I didn't know what it was about. I had no name for it. I just thought it was weird and that I had some kind of a disease or something because I never seen other girls or other boys acting that way.
I don't think there was a choice. I think a lot of people say, well, you know what, it's your choice, it's your lifestyle. You can choose the way you want to live. That was just the way it came naturally to me.
I remember the pressures in the school about conforming, like to being heterosexual, and that you had to kind of say you were heterosexual and that you like girls, and I would never buy into that stuff.
It was actually at that time that I started drinking and using and hanging out and places I shouldn't be hanging out, down Main Street, and doing a lot of things I shouldn't do.
Nobody really cared. Like, my parents didn't care what I did because they were always busy drinking. So with these friends that I met, these are the ones who I opened up to, I felt really comfortable with.
I went through some pretty scary times, living on the street, too proud to go to welfare, being beat up, being exploited, being used, being abused.
It was quite dangerous. Like a lot of times I knew once I'm walking out the door, I didn't know if I was going to return home.
One of the things that sticks out for me is being on the street and some guy saying, "I know you're a dyke," and coming up with a crowbar and smash me across the head.
The transgender community we are always been a target. And like most of the friends that I knew back then, most of them are almost gone right now.
A lot of Two-Spirit people die at an early age because of all of the struggles that they have in their life, all of the abuse that is put upon them in their life. Some of them are murdered. Some live in poverty.
When you're coming out, especially in Native First Nations, Two-Spirited background, a lot of us at that age don't have that resource. We don't have people to go to if we're feeling pressured.
And so it was hard just trying to find places to come out, and healthy places, because it's really hard to come out in a healthy way if you don't know anybody and you don't know anything. So, my natural instinct was to find a gay bar. And to me, that these days it's not the healthy way to come out.
At first, I didn't want to actually believe it because I thought, okay, if they're pinning me down this much, it's actually going to mean I must be doing something wrong. There were times where I would go to bed and pray to be straight.
And I had my 2 boys and husband, and I thought everything was fine and dandy and everything was going good, and I felt happy. But I still knew something was missing, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And I never had any real friends because I didn't want them to find out my secret, I guess. I didn't really open up to anybody.
If I hadn't come out, I wouldn't be here today, and that I would rather know my enemies.
It's almost like I had to die because I had like a dream of being, a wife and mother all my life and have kids and grandkids and, just grow old in there. But then I realized that I can't, I was going crazy, I guess, within my own self. And so I had to let that part of me die, I guess, to let my new birth as a Two-Spirited person come out.
Being biracial, I always felt that I was looked down upon, even within my own family.
Since our biological family didn't accept us, but we created a family that is surrogate, which we call ourselves sisters, aunties, granny.
We create these little families, that help each other and get us through the hard times, when we feel hopeless, when we feel depressed, when the whole world comes crashing in on us, that, these little families pick each other up, and just dust each other off and let's go forward.
For a lot of people that come out of the life of drugs and living on the street and alcohol, when they finally are able to come out of that, it's almost always through their embracing of our cultural identity, of the ceremonies, and most importantly of the songs.
When I sing, it's like I kind of drift off and make that contact with the spirits. It's helped me feel the good in life.
All those songs come from deep down inside of us, and it's a form of our deepest expression of who we are. Whether you're singing or not, just being near those people when they sing is almost always a beautiful experience and, a healing one.
I can sit here and proudly say that I am a survivor of abuse. I am a survivor of addiction. I am a survivor of prostitution. I'm a two-spirited person. I found my supports, if you will, on the streets. And what caused me to be so vulnerable was that need for belonging, acceptance, that need to be me.
I'm really, really happy to see a lot of my family here. I've been really blessed in my life to have come from...
So before I shared this vision with the world, I had to share it with my family and my local community. And I did this at the Thunderbird House in Winnipeg. And I shared the truth that came to me through this vision about, the history and the role of two spirits in our cultures.
Today, I'm feasting the eagle that has come to me and pledging that I will do the work that I'm being instructed to do through that experience. And so I invited you all.
In a traditional Aboriginal community regarding gay people, the whole notion was the value of the person. Because in their philosophy, everybody's got a purpose, everybody's got a destiny, and everybody's got a role in this world.
One of the roles, I think, for me personally, is to bring as much understanding as possible to all of us, not just two-spirited people, and why we are the way we are, and the advantages of being who we are.
In the late 1980s, we started gathering intentionally, internationally. We began communicating and sharing information. We began sharing telephone numbers and mail addresses and posters and cultural history and stories. And we started hearing from the elders and medicine people. And they were saying quietly, you guys are doing something good, keep doing it.
Learning those values, learning your history, which I thought was very important as a two-spirited person, because learning stuff like that, it kind of added fuel to the fire, because it makes me want to learn more now.
My question was, how were we involved in our communities before, all these changes happened in the last 400 years? What was it really like for us? And that answer came in that vision. We maintained the health of our communities through medicines and counseling and visioning and dream interpretations. One of the tribes refer to us as the in-between people, in between the physical world and the spiritual world and the dream world. The health and well-being of our societies was the core function of who we were as two-spirited people. And we were looked at and held in high regard because of that. Our strong medicine is coming back to us now, and nothing can stop that.
When you discover your cultural heritage, it's like being reborn. Everything inside you just comes out. The emotions, the spiritual, the mental, and the physical part all come together.
We have a firm idea of who we are once again. It was nearly dislodged and nearly eviscerated from our cultures across a continent. And we saw to it, with the help of our elders and medicine people, that this did not happen.
I think the renaissance of the Aboriginal culture that's happening for many Aboriginal people, whether it's going to ceremonies or dancing in a powwow or getting your spirit name, is that we're right there with everybody else and we're doing it. And so there is a sense of inclusivity.
All the spiritual beliefs apply to all human beings, whether you're two-spirited or it doesn't matter which nation you're from. I would have to respond to any person that comes to me. That's why I don't understand why people don't respond to two-spirited people. I think we're supposed to be embracing what we have, all the gifts that we have. And being a two-spirited person for some human being that's their gift.
we all have a place on this earth. We all have a right on this earth to live, as free people. And, the two-spirit people or the transgender people, like, it's in your face. They are showing you, this is what Creator has made. It's not good or bad, it's part of creation.
Well, for us as two-spirit beings, we know that we're a part of traditions of the past. Are you going to spend your life pretending you're someone else for the comfort of other people outside of you? Or are you going to be honest about who you are and be yourself no matter what?